Hey guys, this is a brand new series on my channel called Inspired By, and this is where I'm going to be doing 3 looks per video inspired by different films, TV shows, books, etc. that I love. And this one is obviously inspired by Studio Ghibli that I have been watching films from since I was about 4 years old. I first saw My Neighbor Totoro when I was about 4. My brother and I used to rent it from Blockbuster on VHS. I'm aging myself here. And yeah, we used to watch that film over and over and over. It was really hard for me to pare this down to just 3, but I figured any more than that in this video could get really long. But I picked When Marnie Was There, Spirited Away, and Princess Mononoke. And I created 3 color palettes for each of those films that I felt were quite different. And this is the one that I'm wearing right now that is inspired by Princess Mononoke. So if you want to watch 3 very different looks, including this one, stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy. This first look and color palette is inspired by the film When Marnie Was There. I'm starting off with the shade Star from the Pastel Goth palette, and I mixed that with a little bit of a cream shade to lighten it. And I'm using a Sigma E36, I believe it is, and I'm just blending that into the inner portion of each eye here. I'm actually taking that color up right into the brow area, because it's not a really bright yellow after it's been mixed. I'm not afraid to take that up really high. Next, I'm taking the NYX HD blush in Taupe on a flat shader brush, and I'm just going to put that all over the lid on each eye. With that same color, I'm just using a crease brush to bring it through the crease and kind of join it to where that yellow is at the inner portion of my eye. Next, I'm taking the NYX Hot Singles eyeshadow in the shade Kush, and I'm also using this flat brush to put that on the outer corner of my eye. And again, just like the shade Taupe, I'm using a crease brush and bringing it through the crease. I'm just going back in and re-intensifying some of that lid shade. I had started putting blue on my lower lash line, and then I realized, wait a minute, I haven't shown you what I'm doing. So I was taking the shade Doom from the Pastel Goth palette, and I'm putting it on my lower lash line. I am leaving a little bit of space on the innermost corner because I'm going to be putting some white there. And I'm just taking my Sigma brush again, and I'm just kind of blending it out instead of it having a really stark line to it. For my upper lash line, I'm taking the E.l.f. cream liner in Teal Tease. I'm just going to create a really small wing on the outer corner here, nothing too big. I
think this is drying out a little bit, so I was having a little bit of trouble drawing it on, but I managed. I'm just taking a little bit of extra care to make sure that the lower lash line is connected to that wing. Now I'm taking Skull, which is a pure white from Pastel Goth, and on a very, very tiny brush, I'm putting this on the innermost portion of the lower lash line. And I'm doing this quite heavily because I want this to look really bright. I'm also putting just a little bit of that up underneath my eyebrows. I kind of felt like smudging my eyeliner just a tad, so I'm taking the same brush I used for my brow bone and just kind of smooshing it a bit. I'm just putting on a layer of Wet n Wild Max Volume Plus for mascara. This is the completed eye look inspired by When Marnie Was There. Stay tuned for the next Studio Ghibli look. This next eye look and color palette is inspired by the film Spirited Away. For the majority of this look, I'm using this old Coastal Scents 88 color palette, and I'm starting with this light blue up here. Just using a flat shader brush to get that all over the lid and up into the crease a little bit. Next I'm taking this darker blue, which is kind of like a sky blue, and I'm going to be using this in my crease. I find this shade can be a little bit patchy and choppy, so I have to kind of build it slowly and blend it really well. I'm just taking this smaller blending brush for the inner portion of my crease here. It just makes it easier. And I'm blending that out with an even fluffier brush because, like I said, it can look a little ghastly if I don't blend it out really well. This thing is so big that I had trouble showing you which shade I was using. There it is! And this is going to go in the outer portion of my lid. I'm so sorry, I think my camera must have been angled too high, and this is the result, and I feel so bad. I'm taking this lighter turquoise shade for the inner portion of my lid, and also bonus points for whoever spots the eyeshadow that just fell out. This shade is really sheer. I've had this palette a long time and the shades are definitely hit and miss, so this one I had to build quite a bit. I'm taking that crease shade on this smaller blending brush and just extending it out almost like a wing through the crease. Just to kind of, you know, mimic the tail of a dragon, perhaps. For the lower lash line, I'm taking this really dark purple, which kind of comes off as more of a dark blue. Now for the really tricky part, I'm going to take this Annabelle brush tip eyeliner in white and draw a very fine line in the crease with it. The goal here is just to follow the natural curve of my eye, as well as to kind of go in between the space of the lid color and the crease color. And this is where it definitely would have been nice if my camera had been angled properly. Again, I'm really sorry about that. If you do end up trying this yourself, my best tip would be to not load up too much product onto the brush. Start off with a really small amount and then just build from there if you need to. I did go in with a second layer, but you couldn't see any of it. Yay! I'm taking the purple shade from the Alchemist palette by Kat Von D, and that's going to go right in the inner corner. Right on top of that, I'm taking the Stila Glitter and Glow and Diamond Dust on a very small brush. I wish I had glitter that was a little bit more fine, but I don't, so this is the best I can do. I just don't want the glitter to look chunky, so as long as you're spreading it very thin, it should look okay. Once again, I'm using a coat of Wet n Wild Max Volume Plus as mascara. And this is the finished eye look inspired by Spirited Away, or specifically Kohaku. I hope you enjoyed this look, and stay tuned for the third and final Studio Ghibli look. This third and final color palette is inspired by Princess Mononoke. I'll be starting off with the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette, and I'll be taking the shade Star on the inner portion of my eye. I'm taking that shade on a fairly dense brush so that I can really pack on that color because I need it to be pretty vibrant. Next, I'm taking the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette, and I'll be taking this orange shade Devil, and I'll be connecting that to Star, as well as bringing that right up through the crease. Essentially, I'm just taking a light layer of it and hugging the curve of my eye. I'm then taking a little bit more and kind of building that up higher until I think I've gotten it to the point where I want. Next, I'll be taking this aptly named Stigmata shade, which is a blood red, and I'll be taking that on a flat brush to pack it all over the lid. When I get to the outer corner, I'm kind of taking the brush on the tip and kind of forming the shape of this eye look into a nice V. I'm then going back in with my small blending brush just to blend out the edges of this and kind of fluff it up into the crease a bit. I'm going back in with Star just to re-intensify the yellow and to blend it in with the red a little bit better. I'm also going back in with Devil through the crease just to re-intensify that as well. I'm going to be deepening the outer corner with the shade Crucifix. I'm just kind of making a V shape by stamping it on the outer corner there. And again, blending, because a look like this takes a lot of blending. I'm taking the shade Sabbath on my lower lash line. I'm taking great care to make sure that it's connected to everything going on the lid. Wherever I didn't put Sabbath, I'm going to put a little bit of Skull. I'm also putting that right underneath my eyebrows. I'm taking the Annabelle brush tip eyeliner in white to add a few small dots right above my crease where they'll be visible with my eyes open. I wanted to add some detailing inspired by San's character, but hopefully in a way that's not culturally appropriating, as I realize her styling is highly influenced by other cultures. Hopefully I've achieved this, but if not, please let me know so I know not to do it again. That's the only way I'll know. Finally, I'm just finishing off with a coat of Annabelle's Blast Off Mascara. And here we have the third and final Studio Ghibli look inspired by Princess Mononoke, and specifically San's warrior spirit.
So those were the 3 looks. I hope that you enjoyed them very much. It took a lot of work and a lot of thought, and I've really enjoyed doing this. I hope to do this series about once every 4 to 6 weeks approximately, and I think that's going to be very fun. So hope that you've liked this series so far, and you hope to see more from me down the road. So I'll see you in the next Inspired By video. Bye, guys.